In the last video, I showed you all how I organize my photos in under 2 minutes a day. And a lot of you were asking, so how do I know what categories or albums to put my photos in? And that is what we're going to talk about today. It is actually vitally important because if you don't do this right, you're going to make it take a lot longer and not be as effective. Now, I'll be using the term categories and albums interchangeably. Technically, when I'm organizing it, I'm organizing into albums, but the principle is the same whether you're using folders on your computer, whether you're using Apple Photos, Google Photos, whatever other photo organization tool. The principle of what categories to use is still the same. And this is really important so that you can make decisions quickly. If you overcomplicate it, you're going to be thinking forever, does it go here? Does it go here? We don't want all that overthinking, and we don't want everything piled up in one massive album so that it makes it hard to use your photos in the future. All right, we need to talk about one more definition. So I use the term smart album, smart folder interchangeably. Technically, in the Apple devices, it's a smart album, but lots of different tools have this, and I will show you more in depth in the next video how to set one of these up. But basically, this means you can set parameters where any photos that meet these conditions come in there automatically. So only a photo that is in this album in this date range, for example. So when I talk about smart albums or smart folders, that's what I mean. Now, we need to talk for just a minute about what not to do because I'm really passionate about this. And the most common thing I see people doing is organizing by date. So you'll make an album and you'll put like all the photos from this date in there. And the reason that is not that helpful is that your apps will do that for you. Like I can easily get a photo sorted by date, sorted into by day or by trip or by event, or I can even use smart folders to get the categorization if I just want like everything in each month or something like that. So it's just totally not necessary and isn't really a good use of your time. Also, I don't love organizing by event either. So like the Disney trip or the this trip or the Susie's birthday and things like that. And the reason why this is difficult is that some things don't cleanly fit into one event or the other. Some do. Like if I went on a Disney trip, I'm probably going to know which photos belong to that, but others don't. And there's a lot of everyday photos. What do I put it in when I went to Target and I took a cute picture of my kids with a Target dog? Does that go in? Well, there was a birthday that day, but that is not really related to the birthday. And then do I want multiple events in one day? This doesn't work super well either, even though it is tempting. Then any kind of micro organization is not a good idea. You're going to be spending way too much time. You're going to have way too many categories to manage and just trying to like get things on a really granular level, especially with the search capabilities these days and the abilities to create smart folders and sort by all sorts of things. That is really not necessary. We want to keep it simple so that we get it done. Also, I never put one photo in multiple categories. Each photo has only one home. So we're not duplicating the photo and putting it in more than one place. We do this for some other things, but for photos, one photo, one home. All right, let's dive into my actual categories. First of all, I have 3 overarching categories. Some of you will have all 3 of these. Some of you will only have 2 of these. The first category is work, goes without saying. That is everything that I create for work. I create a ton of content. These videos, YouTube videos, stories, all those things, that's all work related and will go into my work. Now, those of you who do not use your phones to create content for work, you don't even have that one, so you don't have to worry about it. All right, number 2 is the personal category, and that is exactly what it sounds like. Anything that is just a personal memory or photo. If I might consider displaying it on a wall or putting it in our family album, then it goes in here. And my third category, and this is one that you should not overlook, is screenshots. Wow, I have a ton of screenshots. So I'll screenshot memes, I'll screenshot books that I want to read, I'll screenshot things I want to buy. If somebody recommends a TV show, all sorts of things, and these all get their own folder because I wouldn't really put those into, like I wouldn't print it out and display it on the wall. I wouldn't put it in a family album yearbook. It's not really sentimental or capturing a memory. It's more useful things for me to refer back to later. Now, those are my 3 broad categories, and you actually don't have to organize any further than that if you don't want to. And I would recommend starting there and only creating subcategories as needed. So in my personal, for a long time, I had nothing else. Now I do have a couple other things in there because my kids create YouTube videos for their channel and I don't like those getting mixed up in with my personal photos and videos. So I do have a folder specifically for that. So if you have something specific like that, you can create that. But for the most part, anything that's just a personal family memory is going to go in that main personal folder. And then when it comes to those screenshots, I do categorize here when I find that I'm getting a lot of something. So I have tons of books. I also cheat a little bit if I take a photo of a book at a bookstore because I love browsing bookstores and libraries, then I will go ahead and put it in this screenshot. So anything that's a book that I might want to read, and then anything that's TV shows, anything that's recipes I want to try. So I do categorize by how I might want to find it. And this is super duper straightforward. Like it either is a book or it isn't. It's either a recipe or it isn't. So this is pretty straightforward, but I wait until I collect some of these and then I create the subcategory. I do not try to go further than this. I also don't go any deeper on the recipes. I'm not like this type of dessert recipe. And no, this is just the overarching category for each of those items. And my really simple rules that'll help you remember when you're deciding what category it goes in. If I'd want it in my family photo book, it's personal. If it's something to remember, it's a screenshot. And if it's tied to my business, it's work. It's really as simple as that. Now, I like everything to pass the find it in 10 seconds rule. If I couldn't find the photo in about 10 seconds, then there might be a more efficient way of doing it. So, for example, if I saw a funny meme last week that I want to recall, I know to go to screenshots and memes, and then I've got it narrowed down. And using the features on my phone or a smart folder, I can even narrow down to if I know that I did it last summer, I'll show just the dates for last summer. All right, so say I want to find my daughter's birthday when she turned 7. Super simple. I know that that is in personal, and I'm going to set the date filters for the month of her birthday. Super easy. An event, the same way. Let's say we went to Disney last summer. Again, personal, the date for last summer, and it's narrowed it down enough that it's pretty easy for me to find that. Also, I can use the location features in my photos to say, show me ones where we were in Florida. So I want you to think about future-proofing your categories. I don't create categories for things that don't age well, meaning if I'm into the hobby of, let's say, knitting right now, but I don't think knitting is like going to be a part of my long-term life, I may not take a specific album in my screenshots for knitting. And if a folder grows too big, I can split it then. And if a folder stays empty, I can merge it. So if I'm like, oh, actually, I thought I was going to do a bunch of recipes, but in the 2 years, I've only screenshotted 2 recipes, we don't have to necessarily keep a specific folder for that. Also, it is easier than you think to change as you go. So renaming albums is very simple and easy. I can do it either on right in my Photos app or in the Slidbeox app, and they will sync with each other. So if I just want to do a simple rename, even moving albums around or nesting them is pretty simple. So don't feel like you're locking this in forever and you can never change it. That's not true. It's pretty easy to tweak as you go. Now, remember, we are doing this for a reason, and that is because we want to make it easier to use our photos, to be able to print them, and especially to be able to create a family album. And when you have done the step that I talked about in the last video, to be categorizing your videos in a couple minutes a day, and you've created good categories like this, then making that yearly family album can be done in literally 30 minutes. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how.